Hello, everyone, and welcome to the channel Coaching Conversations. So I am Sabrina, and today something very exciting. We're going to interview my dear friend, my colleague, partner in crime, David Sprowl. So we're going to discover together a little bit, who he is and how he discovered coaching, and just get a little bit of a snippet of, his personality. So I'm so happy you're joining us for this, and let's get started. Hello, buenos dias, David.
Buenos
How are
dias, ¿qué
you?
tal? I'm doing fine, doing fine. Excited to be here and to join you and the audience.
Thank you. We are excited as well. So get ready. I'm going to shoot off some questions to you.
Okay, go for it. I'm ready.
Let's discover who you are. Could you please just share us a little bit about yourself? Like, what's going on in David's world?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that I'm an American living in Sitges, Spain. Sitges is located just south of Barcelona. My spouse and I have been living here almost 2 years. And this has been a dream of ours. For many, many years, we've been working towards moving from the States to Spain because we've been visiting here for probably 37 years off and on. And so
Wow.
for us to finally reach our goal of moving here and becoming residents here has been really, really quite exciting. I'm married. I've been married for 8.5 years, although we have been together 30 years. But it's only in the last several years that we could legally get married. So we're really thrilled about that. The other part that's exciting for us is that we work together. We created our own consulting firm, which is called WD International Consulting. And what we do is we provide training to personnel, staff members who work in the aging services arena in elder care. So it's folks who work in nursing homes, assisted living, retirement communities, home and community-based service organizations. And we provide leadership training to them, mentoring and coaching. That's where the coaching part comes in. So that's just a little bit about me.
Yeah,
That's me.
we will. That's me.
That's it.
First of all, no, but wonderful. I mean, first, it's well, we both live in Spain, but it's very different, though. But I mean, it must have been incredibly exciting for you to do the move to come, after visiting and thinking about it for such a long time. How was it? How that transition? I mean, please
It's been
share.
very interesting. It's a very different living somewhere as opposed to visiting somewhere. And so it's been, we had to jump through a few hoops in terms of residency and visas and all of that. But it's been exciting for both of us because it's something we really wanted. And when you want something badly enough, you're willing to make whatever sacrifices you need to make it happen. And we've grown, I think, as people, having gone through that experience. So it's been good. It's
Beautiful.
been good. No
How is
regrets.
this? You speak already fantastically well Spanish, by the way, listeners. David, Spanish is fantastic.
Well,
So
thank
I
you.
hope in the future we will do videos in Spanish. That would be really
We should do
fantastic.
that. Absolutely. Let's do
Let's
it.
put a challenge up there. But I mean, yeah, it must have been excited for you as well to speak Spanish. I mean, because you've had it already, in the
Yeah,
bag.
that's the part is, coming into a place where I could really work on it and improve on it, and to be able to provide coaching. Perhaps one day I hope to be able to coach actually in Spanish, which I've only done around practicing in my class. I've done that. But
Of
the other
course.
thing is the other thing in our work is that we do a lot of seminars, workshops, conferences. And so I've done a couple of those in Spanish, which has been a huge goal for me to overcome that fear, because there's a lot of fear to that. And having done that, that's been an incredible excitement for me to be able to do that.
Oh, of course. Well done.
Thank
Because
you.
it's not
Thank you.
easy. It's not easy
No,
the
it's not
moment
easy
you
at all.
start doing it in
Yeah.
another language.
Yes,
But
yes.
talking about coaching, how did you find, well, they say often, or you have found coaching or coaching has found you. And I think it's
Yeah,
fascinating
that's
to
a good
know
way
this
of putting
part.
it, because I never thought of myself as ever one day becoming a coach. I didn't set out in life to say, oh, I'm going to be a coach when I grow up. No, it's something I think it's a matter of just how life has brought me to this. For me, back when I was even in high school, even being that young, often people would come to me with their problems. and wanting to talk, especially girls who were having boyfriend problems. They'd come and talk to me. And what I found from that experience is that I didn't offer a lot of advice of what they should do. But what I did do well was to listen. And because I was known as somebody who was a very good listener. And that's what I would do. I would simply listen and maybe mirror back what I was hearing, what I thought I was hearing. And they ended up resolving and solving their own problems. They found their own solutions. And having done that, they would get so excited and think that I did it for them. So they were giving me all this credit for how I helped them through all this. And the reality was, like so much of we do as coaches, is we simply ask good questions and we listen very well, and we help our clients to find their own solutions. And so early on in life, I was doing that naturally. And as I progressed through college and into my professional career, having worked in IT, having worked in nonprofit retirement housing, all of those were positions in which I supervised or managed people. And of course, as a leader, as a senior manager, you have to really listen very well. In that role, I give advice, but I also coach as well. So it was naturally happening to me all along. And then finally, with this last career of starting the consulting business that was mainly focused on training, leadership training, what we found was that coaching was the missing link to staff members who go to these conferences, who go to training, who come to our training. It was the link between them learning the skills and the concepts and the principles, and then applying those in their work life and in their personal life. And we found that the coaching bridged it, because it made them more responsible for carrying out what it was they had to learn. So it was accountability. Coaching put accountability in it. And so for us, that's why I really started doing the coaching, was to bridge that gap. And I realized I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun for me. And we were having and seeing some really great results, which is then why I decided to actually get certified, to actually go through training, professional training, so that I could be a professional certified coach. And so that's how I got there. And I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
Yeah. Well, I suppose so many of our listeners as well, when you find that the moment where you feel that you're completely synchronized with with your purpose. And I think that's what you have, we spoke about it before.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, the other thing that helped me decide on coaching was I went to a coach myself several years ago. And this is while I was working as an executive director of a retirement community. I'd reached a point in my career where I was really good at what I was doing, but I felt like I could go a little higher, that I wanted to get some executive coaching. So I sought out an executive coach and spent a year working with him. And it was incredible. He was great. First of all, he was an incredible coach. But he helped me to not only realize some things I wanted to change professionally, that is to be better at my work as an executive director, but what came out of that was he realized my desire to move to Spain. And so we switched. It went from executive coaching to more like life coaching. And he was the one who helped me make the transition and to do the things I needed to do. But the other thing, this is how clever he was as a coach, is he realized that my spouse was an important part of what it was I wanted to do. So he invited my spouse to become a part of our conversations. So my spouse became a client as well. So together we were coached as a couple, and that helped us immensely to make the transition, to do the things we needed to do, to stay on track. He held us accountable to what we said we were going to do together. And it's just incredible. And so it's so cool, because I just spoke with him again just a month ago. And he was just so proud to have been a part of this transition for us, to see how well we're doing, how successful we were. So for him as a coach, that's a great feather in his cap.
No,
he
for
was
sure.
Successful with us. But I say here, I use that as an example of not only do I coach now, but I have actually used a coach prior to becoming a coach.
And yeah, and I think, yeah, but that's how we discover it in a different way from being on the other side as well, isn't it? But I
Right,
love what you
right.
just shared now, because, you know, I'm doing with our channel, David and I, of course, will share a lot of the different niches of coaching, as we have very different niches ourselves. But I love, David, that you shared this, because sometimes you go to an executive coach, or you go to leadership coaching or business coach,
Right.
and there's more towards this. It's normal that suddenly, you know, it goes into life coaching a little bit, or, you know,
Right.
relationship coaching, because we are so much more complex and we have so much other big important
Absolutely.
parts in our lives.
That's a very
Like you
good
said,
point.
now, you know, you go for executive coaching, but it's actually through these sessions you realize the desire of transitioning to Spain,
Absolutely.
which is your
Absolutely.
life.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing this, because
Yeah. Yeah.
sometimes we forget that, actually, that,
And
oh,
I'd
there's one
forgotten about
coach.
that. Yeah, until you asked that question, I'd actually forgotten about that. That was a real catalyst for me. A
Oh,
success story.
great.
Yeah.
What do you find? I mean, that's a very selfish question for me
Hmm.
as a coach. I love
Uh-huh.
asking it. What do you find is still challenging for you during working as a coach in your sessions, or preparing
Ah,
yourself, or
yeah. For me, the most challenging piece is avoiding giving advice, particularly if
mm,
it's on a subject that I know a lot about. And because, you know, I had a career in aging services as working in a retirement community, and my clients work in the same field, there's that tendency to want to tell them technically how to do some things. Or I want to share my experience of, oh, when I was there, when I was doing that job, this is what I did. And as a coach, you can't do that. It's not even about us.
uh-uh.
First of all, it's about the client, and it's about
Absolutely.
keeping the focus on the client. So that's a challenge for me, to not fall into the consultant, becoming a consultant, as opposed to staying in the coaching realm.
Mm.
So it's still a challenge for me, but I think I do that very well. I think I have been very good about not doing it, because I hear myself about to do it, and I stop myself from doing it.
So you'd be like, red flag.
Right,
That's your
right.
own red
And then,
flag. You
the other
can't go
thing is,
there.
and then this, I'm sure this happens to everybody, and that is the client will ask me, well, what do you think I should do? Or what
I
do you think I ought to do? And you kind of stop for a moment and have to really kind of turn it back around and put it back on the client. Say, well,
Absolutely.
what do
I
you think
know.
you should do? Or,
Yeah.
tell
We
me
do
your
get
opinion
these
about
questions, like,
that.
and they're like waiting for the, you're like, ooh,
Yeah, yeah,
it's not
yeah,
about me. No, let's bring
yeah,
it back to you. No, it's
yeah,
true. And I
absolutely.
suppose it keeps us humble as well, being
Yeah,
aware of that. It's not about us. It's not about advising, you know, it's about being
yeah,
just really present. Thank you. Thank you for sharing
yeah.
this. Um, can you describe, like, because I think this is the best way of understanding and feeling your passion for sure. Um, a coaching experience that you had yourself, a moment of wow, aha, but seeing it
Yeah.
as well with the clients, that you would
Yeah.
love to share with us,
Yeah.
please?
Well, a story I've told a few times already is about one of our clients. It's a young lady who came to me because her CEO of her company had recommended that she work with a coach. The CEO identified this young lady as someone who's a future leader of the organization, and they
Mm-hmm.
just wanted to give her some extra tools to help her to become a better leader. She was an incredible young woman. Instantly, you realize she's a strong presence, the loudest person in the room, but the kind that attracts people. And
Mm-hmm.
her issue was that she was burned out. She was so tired and overworked. And as we sort
Okay.
of peeled back that onion to figure out, well, what's causing this? What's going on? It turned out that this young lady was receiving phone calls late at night, all hours of the night, from colleagues, coworkers, asking her for help, asking her opinion. So what was happening was all of these people from both her department and from other departments were coming to her instead of to their supervisors for help, for advice. She was
Mm-hmm.
the type of person that was so giving that people came to her. Again, being that strong personality and presence and assuring presence, people naturally wanted to flock to her.
Of course.
She realized in the course of talking through this, her aha moment was she realized that she actually enjoyed being needed. There was something in her that had that strong need to feel important, because it did. It made her feel empowered and important because look, they're not going to their supervisors, they're coming to me. I have all the answers and I can do all of this. But over time, it began to backfire on her. She was worn out. She was stressed out. She was not spending time with her family, particularly with her husband. She had a 98-year-old grandmother that she hardly got to see. And her parents were getting older as well and didn't get to see them very often because she was working all the time. So we put some action items in place. And one of those things was that she was to turn off her phone when she left work that day. It was over. Work was over. No more receiving phone calls. The other thing was if someone from another department were to come to her for help, she would redirect them back to their supervisor. So she put all these things in place, and over time, she began to see the difference. The stress went away. The people around her recognized something had changed in her. Even unsolicited, they offered that, you seem more relaxed, you seem happier, what's going on? So for me, that was huge, because that not only changed her work life, her professional life, but her personal life, because then she also reported that she was taking walks with her husband. I mean, he was so thrilled to have his wife back.
Yeah.
And her parents and her grandmother were getting frequent phone calls and visits that they didn't have before. And so she felt more fulfilled because she loved her family and was just torn between work and family, but no longer was that happening. So that was exciting.
And that is, I believe, thank you for sharing this, first of all. But I believe this is a problem or a challenge many of us have, isn't it? To feel torn between personal life and professional. I mean, ideally, we want them both to be balanced. And I think this is a beautiful story as well, where sometimes you need to reconsider a little bit, you know, where to recreate balance. Oh, wow. Thank you. How do you feel, David, that, I mean, I know you love coaching. I mean, when we've met in Prague, you're like, you know, and you can see it in your eyes and everything. But how do you feel like coaching has influenced your life? And in which way? Like,
well, it has influenced my life in a very positive way. I've said before that, you know, if I'm going to work with clients and help them through their own issues, helping them find their own solutions, then I need to walk the talk myself in my own life. Otherwise, I'd be rather hypocritical, wouldn't I? And so one of the things I learned is, first of all, in having those aha moments with clients, I learn from their experience and I apply that experience in my own life. And for me, that's been a positive. So it's held me accountable to be authentic in the work that I do.
Amen. Love
authentic
this.
in my life, but authentic when I talk to clients, that what they're hearing is the real me. It's the real. I'm being real about it. But then I'm living it as well. And I'm human as well. I mean, I need a coach. Thank you very much. And benefit from coaching as well. So that's been the biggest influence on me is it's held me accountable for my own stuff as well.
Do you feel like you've grown a lot as a human being? Like, even if you would not have become a coach, but just like experiencing the coaching, how is it for you, really?
Well, having
as
been
a
coached,
person?
I gave the example of having been coached, and here I am in Spain. Hello. It's
fair. Yeah, no,
it
it's
works.
true.
It works. But let's say even on the other side, as a coach, I can't help but to be changed in some way, having worked with some incredible people, incredible clients. I can't do it and not be changed myself. And it's been a positive for me. Again, which is partly why I love doing it so much, you know, apart from watching other people grow, but I grow with them. So it's a win-win.
Beautiful. Well, I wish you long continuation of beautiful growth through coaching.
Thank you so much.
because it's such a beautiful part of your life, and yeah, as I know, and thank you for sharing this with our
You're
listeners.
so welcome. This has been such a pleasure spending this time with you. So
yeah, no, I
and with the
enjoyed
listeners.
this.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like through all of the things that we are going through now, and through being, coaching, and of course, you work a lot on, your own development, your professional development,
Right.
you're running your own consultancy as well, working with your partner. How do you switch off? Because it's not easy. Definitely, I'm sure a lot of listeners as well, working sometimes with their spouse, are entrepreneurs, running your own business, working from home or having children. Like, we cannot deny the importance of switching off.
Absolutely.
So I would love to know what are your favorite switch offs?
Well, a couple of switch offs I have. One is long walks along the Mediterranean Sea. For me, that's when I'm at my calmest, is being out, being a part of nature. It's seeing and hearing the waves. It has a real calming effect on my soul. The other thing I do is periodically is I meditate. So my meditation is my time to shut out the world and to just concentrate and open up, because I know when I have that quiet time, that's when ideas come to me, in the quiet, in the stillness. That's very important, to build in that time. And I often talk about that with clients as well, is that you need some time for yourself. No matter what's happening in your day, in your week, you need to set aside, if it's only 15 minutes, set aside some time for yourself. So that's what I do. Again, I'm walking the talk. I'm doing it myself. Absolutely.
No, yeah, it's true. It's actually true, because it is noisy out there, and sometimes the 15 minutes of quietness, it's unbelievable what it does. I mean,
absolutely.
I have the same. I need to start my morning with a little bit of quietness, 15 minutes meditation, or just still just breathing. It's it sets the tone for the day.
Absolutely.
Oh, wonderful.
And to be centered. You're centered.
To be centered.
Yeah.
What are you most excited? It's a quick question. I just want to know. I just throw it out there in the world. What are you excited about our channel together? How would you describe it in like a word or two? Like, this new adventure together.
This new adventure for me is the chance for us to talk about what coaching really is for us, what it means to us, because I know that somebody out there agrees with us. Somebody out there is going to hear something that will spark in them about, either if they're a coach already, some things they can do differently, that they can add to their toolbox. And if somebody who's thinking about being coached, that maybe seeing us will make them think, oh, they make it look cool. They make it look like something I should do.
They're like having fun.
And then I have to say, selfishly, I just love spending the time with you and just having my saucy time,
Well, that would be as well my answer. Selfishly, I love spending time with you. Wow, thank you so much, David, and thank you, listeners, for listening to this video, following us. And if you have any comments, any questions, anything you wish to share to David or to me, please, you can find it on the comments below with our channel. Until next time, I wish you a fantastic day. Keep yourself healthy, safe, happy. David, so looking forward to connecting with you again. And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, the audience, for listening. Take care.